Good morning. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat box. For those seeking business licensing assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business licenses can be applied for or renewed online at chicago.gov/business licensing. The BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program now has a new portal, and getting your certificate is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, register for the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program. 2, attend 6 free BACP webinars from listed categories and receive credit after each. 3, graduate from the program and receive your certificate. Graduating from the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program makes you eligible to apply for CIBC USA's Entrepreneurial Loan Program. For full program details, visit chicago.gov/BACP certificate. For webinar calendar, please visit chicago.gov/BACP webinars. If you are already part of the program, your account will automatically reflect the credit for joining this webinar within 24 hours. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/ChicagoBACP. I will post the mentioned information in the chat box. We encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. Today's webinar will be Spotlight on Success, Learn Insights to Grow Your Business, presented by the National Association of Women-Owned Business, NAWBO Chicago 2024 award winners. Turning it over to Leticia.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. Happy summer. Depending on your calendar, they said it's the first day today or yesterday, so I hope everybody is getting ready to enjoy this wonderful summer. I am accompanied here with some amazing women, and I am extremely excited to hear from them. As mentioned, this is Insights to Grow Your Business. So we're going to hear from these ladies, but I want to give an introduction of who they are first. And I've already let them know that I'm doing my best with names, but in case I don't, I'm asking for some grace and mercy. So the first is Isoken Ogbomo. She was awarded Women Business Owner of the Year. She's here with Mary Balistreri, which is received the Visionary Award. Melissa McAtee, she has Member of the Year. Cathie Van Wert, another Member of the Year. Congratulations, ladies. Lindrea Reynolds received the Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And rounding us out is Trisha Beltran, which received the Next Gen Award. Thank you, ladies, for being here this morning with us. And we're going to dig right in so we can maximize our time. So, one of the questions posed, it was, do you want to learn some key discussions and processes that others made to effectively impact growth of their company? And then one of the questions said, well, have you ever wondered how a company seemingly grew overnight? Well, although we know it seems that they may grow overnight, we know in fact there was a plan and it didn't happen overnight. So as I was preparing for this, I found some fun facts. I just wanted to ask the ladies if this is true. So a growth opportunity exists for companies if it passed 4 tests. It relieves human pain. There is a chance to put a smile on the faces of unhappy people. There is a big market. Many such people in pain will pay for a product to make them happy. You have the right skills. Your company can design, build, distribute, and service the product. Or you have an advantage. You are ahead of current and potential rivals in the race to make those people happy. So I wanted to ask from the ladies, would you agree? Are these the steps of growth? And we can start with, well, I see a lot of heads nodding. So Mary, it seems like you agree. Do you have anything that you'd like to add or comment on those items?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for bringing that up. And I think it's, some of that is really based in what you hear about sales. Find somebody's problem and then figure out how to solve it. But I would like to go a little bit deeper, the idea of there's a big market. My question there is define big. And I'm thinking about the market because one of the absolute keys to growth is understanding who your client is. So you may be serving a very defined or narrow niche of customer, but if that niche offers you the opportunity to really expand, then that's a great opportunity. And the other thing with the having an advantage, I don't, not necessarily over a competitor. So for me, everything is about collaboration, and I believe that there is enough for everyone. I see it more as a differentiator. What is the thing that you offer that's slightly different, or maybe different in a big way, from someone who might be a competitor? So that's my initial thoughts.
I love that, Mary. I love that you mentioned collaboration, and differentiator. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, right? So Letty Flores Pool, I work at BMO Bank, and I have the pleasure of working with women in business, small business owners, and I teach a lot of classes, and I try to encourage collaboration, but I also tell them, depending on your industry, there's a lot of competition. So what's your niche? What's your differentiator, right? If you're an event planner, why am I going to choose you? Right. So you also said understanding your clients, right? And we did another talk and we spoke on how sometimes we don't think that we frozen. I think I was frozen. I apologize for that tech issue. But nonetheless, we sometimes feel that we can't collaborate with like businesses. And I don't think that that's true. I think there's definitely always an opportunity to learn from each other. And Melissa's shaking her head like, no, we can. So would you like to comment on those items that I mentioned?
Sure. Yeah, we definitely view not just our direct clients as partners, but also who we would consider our competition. So, we're all kind of playing in the sandbox together. There's thankfully a lot of work to go around. And of course, we want that work, but at the same time, sometimes it just makes more sense and is a better way to leverage our capabilities by partnering with someone on a project. So we often actually get contracted by who again would be considered a competitor to fill in some of the gaps, whether it's a workflow issue or there's a capability we have that they don't. It's very, very common. So we really pride ourselves on starting, building, and nurturing those partnerships. Absolutely.
What is going on with my network here? Partnerships is definitely very important. I pride ourselves on partnerships. So I love that you said partnerships, Melissa, because that's definitely helps fuel our growth, right? Lindrea, did you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, of course. Something that we intentionally do with our organization. I run, for anyone who doesn't know, I run a brand communications consultancy, and we work on the business and personal side. And we do peer analysis. And so we don't even perform competitive analyses. We do peer analyses because there is an opportunity to potentially connect with this person, learn from this individual, if it's on the personal side, or organization, if it's on a partnership side. So we do peer analysis. So we don't even start with the word competition. I think naturally, as owners, as founders, we have this, okay, gotta win, gotta elevate, kind of gotta grow. And also, in order to stay relevant, we have to do our research to see who's out there and what our peers are doing, and also how the industry is shaping. But we do peer analyses. We also encourage our leaders, who are usually our personal brand clients, to also reach out to these peers because there may be an opportunity to partner with them. And partnership, as we've mentioned before, is how I've actually grown my consultancy, is through partnership. I think because to Mary's point, we all have a differentiating factor. So your only competition is yourself. So if you know that you've created something, you've innovated something, if you come in with some big idea into your industry or your sector, then you have to know that having a partnership, you're bringing something unique to the table already. So why think of them as your competitor? And so I just look at the industry as just kind of seeing what's changing so that I can stay relevant and encourage my clients to do so as well.
I love that. I love that you said research, right? Because sometimes you feel like you're in the business and you know, but you want to consistently be able to analyze, right? Like what is happening. So I love that you said peer to peer and it's not competition, right? It's more of connection and partnership. So those are some powerful. Well, you ladies are on fire this morning. I can't take enough notes. Cathie, do you have something you'd like to add?
I do. So we started our business 26 years ago now, and I'm a graphic designer. So we started with our roots in graphic design, and we did a survey early on in our business of our clients. We had a third party partner do a survey, and many of our clients loved our work, but they wanted us to be more full service. So what we decided to do was partner and really build. We really started working on, coming up with strategic partners that could benefit our clients. So we've, over the 26 years, we've, formed these really strong partnerships with other companies that we can bring in, or, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, that we can bring in whenever our clients need them. And we work with them on a daily basis. So it's really made everything better for our clients because we're more full service, and yet we don't have the overhead that some huge agencies do.
Very smart, very smart. So the common theme, right? Collaboration, partnerships, differentiator. We're talking about a lot of the common, but it's made each and every one of you guys successful. Isoken, do you have something you'd like to add?
Sure. Everyone has said just really phenomenal things here this morning, and I hope that a lot of people, I'm taking notes myself because this is really eye-opening. But I wanted to divert to the area where it talks about it relieves human pain. We're all here to serve. Like I always say, you go into business not to not for the accolade or anything like that, but you're there to serve. You're there to solve a problem. You're there to create jobs, opportunity. You're there to show your families the relevance of hard work. Whatever that means for you, why is for you. At the end of the day, what you're doing, you're serving. You're serving humanity, you're serving God. And so what that simply means is what your business, you have to say, okay, what is my work? What is my business actually? What problem is it solving? What emotional value is it bringing to the people you're serving? For our type of business, I run a in-home care services. We pride ourselves that we relieve the stress that comes from family caregiving. Most family caregivers are very stressed. They're trying to manage their jobs, their businesses, their families, and then you have an aging parent that have chronic conditions that needs to be managed. So bringing that peace of mind to them, help them focus on what they need to do. So for you, what emotional value are you going to bring, or is the business going to bring? And I think that's what makes this phenomenal women here different, because they truly, truly add emotional value to people through their services.
And that's powerful because I believe that creates loyalty, right? It creates that loyalty, it creates that connection. You get customers for life, right? When you bring that kind of value, right? Because it's like problem solve. So, I always tell people that, I'll travel for good service, right? If I have a connection, if I know that you're doing that, I go back to a certain neighborhood to do a lot of my services. Why? Because I have that connection. I have that emotional connection, and they're problem solvers. So I love that you said that problem solving, but I love how you said that emotional connection. Because no matter what business it is, you want to make people feel good about doing business with you. Right. And you guys care about what you're doing. You can tell it's evident in your growth. Right. So Patricia, you're going to wrap us up before we get to the next question. Would you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes, definitely. I agree with everyone here that collaboration and partnerships are key to success. And I wanted to touch point on just like relieving human pain. I think that we're all here, and I've said it before, because there's somebody out there that can't have their transformation without us, without our services, without our particular skills. So the more time that we take to get into action to do what it is that we were created to be here for, the more time that that person is going to quote unquote suffer. So, I'm someone that provides structure and implementation for female entrepreneurs. And I've been supporting and guiding entrepreneurs for about 5 years now, working with them indirectly and directly through collaborations and partnerships. And I feel that a lot of them get stuck just in being scared or, on the hamster wheel, not wanting to progress forward. But I heard something when somebody was like, oh, you not taking action doesn't keep you in the same spot. Like you don't stay the same, you just keep deteriorating. You don't get better. People will progress, but you won't. So, I think that's something that we have to keep in mind, that, our pain should propel us forward. And we can, use the resources and collaborate with others, get into organizations like NAWBO to help us move forward.
Wow, our pain should propel us forward. Powerful statements, ladies.
Yeah.
Powerful statements. Don't stay stagnant, right? Don't stay in that hamster wheel. You got to keep going and keep moving and moving in the right direction, right? And empowering each other. So, when we talk about impactful growth, I want to start. Well, the next question is, what would you say effectively impacted the growth of your business? Because I know there was possibly many different strategies that you ladies have attempted to apply, which we'll get to that possibly later of lessons learned. But we'd love to hear about what was something that really was an impactful growth move. So we ended with you, Patricia. Go ahead and kick us off with that.
Definitely. I think that for me was understanding the metrics of success. So what does it mean to succeed? And, listing that out, prioritizing my time, and also prioritizing how I want to show up in the world by setting goals, using tools, and avoiding multitasking. I think that one of the biggest things that a lot of us, even if we're multi-passionate, kind of slump into is wanting to do everything all at once, even though we're just one person. And the number one thing that helped me propel to success was transforming my mindset from an employee to an entrepreneur. I come from 10 years of corporate background, so it was hard for me to get out of that mindset of waiting for someone to tell me what to do. But as I had to shift, through coaching and just understanding that if I don't move, nothing else is going to move. And also nourishment, just building trust with the people, showing them that I care, connecting with them, even though they won't buy my services, still establishing that connection and being out there, because if nobody knows who you are, then they don't know that you exist.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that you said understanding your matrix of success, right? Because it may look different for others. And I know that's something that I've been told, like when I sit down with a leader, right? Ask them, what's your definition of success? Because if you don't understand that, then you don't know where you're going and how to achieve it, right? And then you said avoid multitasking. That's interesting because I always am queen multitasking, but I understand in the point of a business owner, right? Focusing on one piece at a time, right? Not that you have to you're not focused on everything else, but really prioritizing that time. And I always say time is a gift. So some really key strategies there. Lindrea, what would you say was one of your effective growth steps or strategy?
Absolutely. First, I like to say, when you were talking about your metrics of success, you and Patricia, I personally think significance is greater than success. And so I think that's what I kind of stand on within my organization. How do we have significance on a global scale in whatever gifts and talents that we have? I think it was Isoken who brought up our why, but I just wanted to kind of add that note in terms of success, because culture can create a definition of success that would have us, that will box us in, that will have us stressed out, overly competitive, and eventually maybe shutting down our business or even having mission drift. So thinking about significance, what significance do I want to have in the world? Not so much of success or just equal making success and thinking of success as significance, not taking away success. I want to say that, make that clear. But the thing that I've done is really letting go of all creative control. I love being creative. I pride myself on kind of being in that middle, being, I'm strategic. I'm a brand strategist. And so I can merge the creative and the analytical side so that we can reach goals and help clients get to their results and their outcomes. But what I realized was that when I first started my business and I was kind of controlling all of the creative process, I could not work on my business because I was so busy being in my business. So I couldn't focus on my business, expanding my business strategy or going to certain networking events or making new relationships and partnerships or thinking about my funding because I was so busy trying to also iterate the creative just over and over again. So once I let go of all creative control and started to really hire people for sure who were smarter than me, who had different ideas, and we can just kind of share and collaborate and trusting people that they can actually grow your business with you. I kind of think I'm a big Marvel fan. I love Marvel, and I kind of think of myself as kind of like Professor X, where I'm kind of but I can build a team of incredible people with superpowers. And understanding that these people have their own superpowers that they bring to the team. They are creative people. They are experts in their own right. And if I'm able to let go of all creative control, now I can continue to innovate, perhaps add a new service, diversify the portfolio, because now I've moved from just being the strategist to putting on my CEO hat. And so I think oftentimes when we're so in it, we're doing the work, and that CEO hat is kind of like crooked because we can't quite put it on because we're trying to do all the things. And so I think for me, it's letting go of all creative control and trusting the experts and bringing in more people who are excellent and more smarter than me.
That's powerful. Working in versus working on, right? Mm-hmm. And really, I always say there's a cost to do business, right? And sometimes we always say as entrepreneurs, as founders, you do wear multiple hats, right? But the most important hat you got to wear is the CEO hat, right? So, and you got to keep it straight. So, very powerful. Cathie.
So I would say one thing that really impacted the growth of our business is just focusing and doing excellent work for each and every client and really getting to know who their target markets are and how to best reach them, and just really focusing on doing the best possible work we can every day. And over the years, that's really led to long-term clients. We've had clients that we've worked with for many, many years, and then they refer us to other people. And then sometimes someone will leave a company and bring us with them. And it's just really greatly expanded our business over time.
So customer experience, you pride yourself on an excellent customer experience. So it's word of mouth, it's loyalty, right? Amazing. Mary?
Thank you so much. I didn't say at the beginning what my business is. I'm a business and leadership coach, and I call myself the mindful business coach. So I just love that Trisha brought up mindset. So much of the work I do with my clients is around mindset. And what I wanted to say on this one, and I just have to say, Lindrea, that significance is greater than success.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much. I agree with everything that's been said so far. For me, it was really interesting because I was in a corporate world as well. And when I first started my business, it was all about making people know that I existed, telling people who I was, telling people what I offered. But then to really impact growth, it's more showing than telling. So you've got this volume of work that you've done and of people that you've impacted. And the next move from there is to how do you capitalize on that volume and really start to show people who you are? So when I became more comfortable with just being me, commenting on all the things I believe in, putting it out into all my social media, then what that does and what it did for me is attracted exactly the client that's the right client for me. And so that had just a huge impact in growing my business and growing it in the right way.
A brand awareness, right? You want to let them know your brand, who you are, right?
Right.
So show versus tell. And it's interesting you say that, Mary, because a few years ago, I've always used LinkedIn, but over the past 4 years, I've really embraced it to another level. And I had a leader one time said, everybody loves you, Letty. We're always here, Letty. He goes, but I want to see it. I was like, okay, you want to see it? Picture here, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And showcasing the businesses that I'm helping and events I'm at, right? So I had to show versus just tell. So that it hit me as well when you were saying that, because that definitely helped increase brand. So that's why I just thought that was brand awareness, right? You wanted to increase your brand awareness and attract the right clients. I love it. Isoken.
Yeah, really exciting. I'm learning so much from you guys. So for me, I relate to just want to piggyback to what Patricia has said. Changing their mindset from being an employee to an employer or entrepreneur. It's huge. There are people who can do it themselves, and for most people, for the average people like me, we need outside help. So for me, one of the support that I had to reach out to was to get a good coach. So for those of you who are trying to get into business, don't overlook this aspect of business. Business is about 80% mindset and 20% strategy. So your mindset is a shift in mindset is a huge criteria for success. Now, one thing I learned from my coach is that you are a professional problem solver. So being a professional problem solver makes you open your heart and your mind to challenges. Or what I see as an employee, you can push off challenges, let the boss figure it out. But as an employer, it comes to you and there's no one to push it off to, right? So you have to come up with a solution. So you have to upgrade yourself, number one, and you have to welcome challenges. And that was the major transformation for us. I literally received a message that said, can you do XYZ? At that moment in time, I had no idea how to do it. I said yes to it without knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
When I hung up the phone, I said, shit, we gotta go figure out how to get this done. And then, but that path also created a path for me to learn a lot more things, because now I wanted to figure out how to get it done because I already committed to say yes to it. And guess what? That text message and my response alone was almost about 60% of our revenue that year. But I did not know how to do it at that time. So my point is, saying yes to challenges helps you grow yourself, learn a lot, and be a better version of yourself. And then you gain so much confidence because now you can actually take on more challenges. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, problem solving, right? Being a problem solver. And when you started it with saying 80% mindset, 20% strategy. So that's pretty impactful when you think of that, right? Because some individuals would argue that and say you have to have a strategy, you got to have a plan, but it's going to start with your mindset. Because if you don't have the right mindset, how are you going to form the right strategy?
Correct.
Right. And I love that you say problem solving, because that is important. I know Lindrea put there, she said saying yes helps you grow and scale. And it's true, because it helps you. It really is a true growth skill, right? Because if you would have said no, 60% of your revenue. Wow. Right. I mean, that's pretty impactful there. All right, Melissa, round us out with this question.
Oh,
What was your
sure.
biggest growth?
Yeah, well, first of all, I wholeheartedly agree with everything that all these amazing women have shared. They articulated it way more eloquently than I would have, so thank you for that. I will cap it off with maybe something that's not quite as interesting as pragmatic at best, overly pragmatic, but I would say really understanding well, first of all, owning a business, this is so cliche, you've probably heard it a million times, but it can be very lonely. And I myself, I'm going to age myself, but I was employed for 20 years before incorporating, and this is my second business. So, I had a long winding road in different jobs within my career. So got a lot of great experience. And I'll say that I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now without that experience. And I'm in a different industry than I was then too. So it was just a lot of life skill building. But once on my own, owning a business, and I co-own my business with my husband. It doesn't make it any less lonely, by the way. It's like there's still a lot to figure out, and you do feel like you're in a silo. Really understanding where the help was. It takes a village. Understanding the resources, and we live in a city that has tremendous resources for business owners. It took me a long time to figure that out. I remember when I first started working with SCORE, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but I believe they're a lot of retired corporate professionals, right? Who mentor new business owners. That was outstanding. But oh my gosh, there's just so many out there. And once I started to tap into that, which I really started to do right before COVID, thank God, because it had me much better armed for, getting us through a really tough time. But there are just, so many organizations to align yourself with who will have bring lots of different advantages your way. So I would say, kind of building not just your team. I mean, that's a whole other part of it. And we also, we have employees, but we also subcontract and bring in lots of different people with different talents, but beyond that, really tapping into that assistance through various resources. And again, a lot of them are free. They cost no money, because at the end of the day, what is this world without business? So I think everyone knows that to help businesses is going to help us all.
Melissa, you spoke when you said resources. I consistently say that's part of my program is education and resources, but I always also consistently say some of these resources are the best kept secrets. Like, how do we get the resources out more, right? Because as business owners, you need as many resources as possible. You need as many networks as possible, but sometimes you're not sure about how to go about and get them, or you're not sure, like, I'm trying to start this business. I think I should know. No, embrace the resources, right? So I love that you underlined and said that. Many of you, we've learned a lot of these growth strategies, and I just want to check time and check. Are there any questions that we needed to answer in the chat before we move on? Geraldine?
Nope, no questions. This is a lot of 100% yes, and agreeing, and lots of hearts. And I think
Awesome.
everyone's just loving the insight. So great job, ladies.
So, many of you, we talked strategy, and I know when you start your business, when all of you start your business or the plan, my first question was, did you have a business plan? Secondly, was your mission at the start of your company the same? Have you changed your mission from the start to where you're at now? And did having a plan impact that if you had one? So Melissa, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with you.
I am just going to be fully transparent. There was no business plan when we started our
Okay.
business. It's been an evolution. We absolutely have a business plan now, but that evolved over time, and not without the help of one of the biggest resources I stumbled into, and am every day wake up still so grateful for it. And that's 10,000 small businesses. Take note of that if you're not familiar. You do need to have a little bit of I think I don't remember what the rules are anymore,
2
but
years of
when I
business.
applied, 2 years of an established business, a certain amount of revenue. Anyway, please look into that. As a new business owner or as very established, it's just as helpful. But through that work with 10KSB, we did actively put together a growth plan, which really was a business plan, but focused in on a new opportunity, which really helped us to beyond understand what this opportunity was for us, what were all the tools that we needed to have in place. And 10KSB, through this very rigorous 3-month training, helped us put all of that into place. So, but when my husband and I came together and made the decision to start this business, we both came from different backgrounds, but we realized, I think what truly got us started was the awareness that we had very complementary skill sets and a passion for being creative, and not just within our job, but to live creatively. And to own a business is about like the ultimate way to, I think, live creatively, for better or worse. So we have just had a ball. We've raised this business just like our own kid. And so we did kind of come into it as, hey, we've got these talents, let's merge them and let's build something and bring something even better to the world than we would if we were on our own, but with more intention and, again, resources and planning, and experiencing something like COVID, which really just forced us to become more intentional about our business planning. We're in a completely different place than we were 9 years ago when we started. So thank you for that.
Yes, and thank you for the transparency and honesty, right? Because I am a big business plan. I really try to promote that, whether you're starting or been in business. And when you mentioned COVID, that's where it really continued to reign true, that individuals that had a plan, they were able to pivot. Individuals that didn't have a plan weren't sure where to go because they're like, what was our plan? What were we, right? So I appreciate that. And, with intention, right? Having that plan. So, Patricia, did the mission change from start to now? And did you have a plan?
I did have a plan, but I think that one of the things that I quickly realized was that my plan changed. And at first, being, this big person that loves processes, loves planning and getting organized, it was hard for me to kind of transition from the initial plan to a new plan. My original mission was to transform the lives of 300 women, which I did. And my mission now is to go for the 3,000 women. And I think that as a Latina myself, I strive to amplify the voices of other Latina entrepreneurs, just because the market, one, is getting bigger with us, and two, I think that as just from my experience, it's easy to not speak up for ourselves. It's easy not to just stay quiet or stay in the corner and not follow our dreams. So one of my biggest mission is just to make sure that they have the help to overcome their obstacles, and just break through all that self-sabotage, and just experience what growth feels like. One of the biggest things that kind of just hinders just my thoughts is just like, oh, but I created my plan. It has to keep going that way. I have to keep following it. But as you grow and as your business grows, so does the plan.
Yes. And Patricia, I love that you said that, because I tell people all the time, your business plan, it's a working document, right? It's meant to change and enhance, right? Like when you really dig into it, there's so many components of it that it is going to be an opportunity to change and pivot if you need to. If you see the original plans not working, and you said that your mission changed, but not really just the number did. What you're trying to accomplish is the same. You just want to grow. You've like, okay, check mark. I've already met 300. Now I'm trying to get to 3,000. But what your core intent was to do, you're still doing. You just want to continue to do it at a larger scale. So thank you for that. Cathie, did you have a plan, and has your mission changed?
We did not have a formal business plan when we started. I actually quit a job with no other job, and because it was a toxic environment, and I was looking for a job, and I kept getting freelance work and more freelance work, and finally I got so much freelance work I didn't have time to invoice people. So I ended up working with getting my business partner, who is a salesperson that I used to work with on a lot of projects. We had freelance clients together, and so he handled all the business stuff. We got an attorney, we got an accountant, and they helped us sort of form the structure of our business. And we obviously had customers, which was great. But we definitely ebbed and flowed over the next 26 years, and have just grown and changed because when we started our business, there was no websites, there was no internet or anything like that. So all of our work was printed material. And now probably the majority of our business is digital material. So we really had to learn and pivot over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, pivot. That's a powerful word in the world of small businesses. And in your business, you had to. There was no way that you could have, right? So again, not so much the mission changed, just the way that you accomplished the mission.
Right.
I
We're
think.
we're still accomplishing the same goals for our clients, just using different media and yeah. And I would say one other thing is like checking in with your clients throughout the time, over time to make sure that you understand what they need. And we've throughout the years hired, one of our strategic partners to interview our clients so that they can be really honest. And it's really informed us about a lot of things.
I love that you say that, because I think Lindrea also mentioned how she was kind of doing like peer-to-peer analysis, right? And you said that you were doing that analysis. There's a tool that I share with businesses, and it's ideas to grow your business checklist, right? And one of them is understanding what your customers want and how to sell more. They're like, well, of course we want our customers to buy more, but how do you find that out? How do you get that data? How do you analyze that data, right? So you can make sure that you're hitting the mark. Because something like, okay, business is coming in and going. Okay, that's great, but are we doing the right thing? Are we going to continue to have that, right? So, Lindrea, did you have a plan, and has your mission changed?
So I echo most of the sentiments here. I did not have a plan. I launched my consultancy in November of 2019. So right before the pandemic, which actually gave me an opportunity to serve people as they were going through these transitional growing pains. And so it really helped me. I think I wouldn't say that I was more challenged because I was starting. I didn't have to really shift because it was so new. And so, no, I didn't have a plan. I definitely echo Melissa. I am an alum of 10,000 Small Business as well. And I did a business growth plan. So this was after being in business for a few years and deciding that, okay, now I want to sit down with some experts because, as I mentioned earlier, I want to let go of all creative control and continue to grow this consultancy so that it can be a global consultancy and serve people around the world one day. I would say in terms of my mission hasn't really changed. The purpose of our work and my personal purpose, and I have it actually on my wall behind me so I can always be reminded, is to illuminate the world with good. And so the clients that we serve, we're building responsible catalytic brands. And so we want to connect. We help people have genuine human connections, deep connections with people, so that they can have transformative brand actions and brand behavior. And so that hasn't changed. I think, to Cathie's point with research, and Lady, you mentioned this. One day I was sitting on the plane, on a flight with my client. I attended her event, and we, ironically, well, she actually kind of bullied me into sitting next to her. I was sitting in the seat. I was sitting in the seat in front of her, and she was like, "Hey, come sit back here with me." And she kind of talked the guy into switching seats with me. And I asked her, on the flight, why do you do work with us? Like, why? And she said, because you see my value below the surface. And that was important to me. And it actually helped me realize what our promise was. And so I knew what the mission was. I knew what our promise is, to help you see your value below the surface, whether it's an organization or an individual, And so having that conversation with her, and she went a little deeper, it was important because we had done quite a few projects together. She referred several people. She had asked me to speak at different events. And so I knew that she trusted my consultancy, and I wanted to know why. It has to be beyond your brand communications. What is the core thing? What is the promise that we're offering to you? So I encourage people, have those conversations with clients. Ask them why us,
Yes.
If they don't come back, ask them why not.
Yes.
We can't be afraid of getting feedback from clients or customers, whoever we're serving. But there are stakeholders in our business. They're stakeholders, and so that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yes, it's true, right? Ask for feedback, good or bad. You're going to be able to learn from it regardless, right? And you're illuminating the good, right? That just lets you know you believe this, but you see me below my surface. Wow.
Yeah.
Again, customers for life. And how can you imagine how she talks about it? Isoken mentioned about the emotional connection. That's what it is. You just talked about that, right? I know we're getting close to time, so I want to make sure that we can get to both of the ladies and give us, did you have a plan, and did your mission change? So Mary, did you have a plan, and did your mission change?
I absolutely had a plan. I'm a business coach, so I better have had a plan. I was an internal coach and a director of business development at a law firm before I started my own business. So it was very key, and I had all of the points, and I had my strategy and everything written down. And part of what I do, in addition to being a business and leadership coach, is facilitating conversations in the DEI, B, and J space. And so in the beginning, when I was like, well, how do I represent that on my website? I had DEI as a separate thing. So the place where my mission changed is, in the beginning, my mission was to support people to achieve their goals through mindset, emotional intelligence, and conversational intelligence. And then those are all of the things that help you build relationships. So the way that I changed my mission statement is I had these things separate, and I realized during my first year, everything I do is about DEI, B, and J, and the J is social justice. And being an advocate, being an ally, facilitating conversations about culture and race is so ingrained and important to me that I actually changed my tagline to, instead of being the mindful business coach, my tagline is now building belonging into business. And that's really what I do, whether it's through a relationship with an individual I'm coaching, or a relationship with a team, or an organization, and then ultimately also when I'm facilitating.
Yeah. And again, it didn't seem that the mission changed, just the way that you communicate it, right? And the way that you can really allow the world to know what you truly are trying to accomplish. And it's interesting that you added the J. I was, sometimes that's a hot topic, right? DEI. And a lot of times it's the D and the I and not enough of the E. Well, I love that you added the J, right? Because social justice is just as important. So I appreciate that you added that. So that was a great add-on to your plan, and to help increase that. So, Isoken, take us home. Did you have a plan, and has your mission changed?
All right. No, I did not have a plan, so I fall in the category of those folks right here. No, I did not have a plan. And what us was really affected by the pandemic. So we obtained our license to operate March 31st of 2020. And then shutdown happened, I think, a week or two after that or something. So it really, really reinforced the idea of our mission was to help older adults age in place and age at home and help families plan for long-term care. Because we see what happened, that so many people ended up passing away in some of these facilities, unfortunately. So for me, it reinforced my mission. It was a struggle to run a business right during the shutdown, but because of that, what was coming up in the news, it just reinforced the mission that this is what you're going to do. This is the problem you're solving. And so with many of us here that attended 10KSB as well, I'm an alumni of 10KSB. That's my first approach to business plan and business growth plan. So our mission haven't changed, but we have just added some value, additional value mission to it over time, but it hasn't changed.
Well, thank you all for being honest. And you didn't start with one, but you got one, right? And it was a growth plan. So that's something that I definitely want to make sure we take advantage. These ladies are extremely successful in what they're doing. And maybe they didn't start with one, but they definitely developed one through their growth. Now, I know we're about 7 minutes in, and I wanted to really hear from everyone this one piece of advice. So we maybe just do a 60-second roundtable with this one. Each of you have amazing journeys in how you started and are growing your companies. Looking back on many lessons learned, what is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out? So Isoken, you ended, start us off, and we're just going to go around. If we could kind of do maybe 60 seconds. One piece of practical advice, lesson learned.
Absolutely. Confidence in the fact that you will figure it out. Okay. I love Brandon Burchard, how he defined confidence. It's your ability to know that you will figure things out as you go. Don't try to get everything done in one day. Don't try to know everything at the beginning. But as you take that first step and as you keep going, you will figure things out. Things will come to you. You will get understanding. You will meet people. You will have a good network. Just trust the process. Take that first step. Have faith in yourself and just keep going.
Have confidence. Don't give up. You'll figure it out. She's a queen problem solver, I think, right? Isoken, that's been her theme today. All right. Melissa.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I know I have 60 seconds. So I'm just going to say, just kind of reminding yourself often that while there's a lot of freedom and again, creativity and having a business, there's definitely going to be days where you're second guessing it or, 15th guessing it. Life is, I would say, probably just easier to be employed. And there's nothing wrong with being employed. I think a lot of people can find the autonomy and creative outlets that they need, hired by, a company or an individual. But there's just going to be those days that are that you wake up and really kind of wish that you were, doing something different. And that's totally normal. And I'm pretty confident that everyone here probably agrees. So just know you're not alone. And there is a massive network of business owners to lean on. And if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have gotten this far. So resources and fellow business owners are your two best friends as a business owner.
And a banker.
A banker. Yes, absolutely.
Those are the questions we may not get to, but no worries. Thank you.
Yes.
Cathie, lesson learned, one piece of practical advice. You're on mute.
I would say, in business and in life, one thing I've learned is the scariest times have ultimately become like the biggest positive change afterwards. So like Isoken, we have said yes to many things that we did not know how to do. And we've also and learned how to do them and now do them very well for our clients. And we've also pitched clients that it was terrifying. Like there's no way we should have been there pitching in that room, and we won them sometimes, so you never really know what's going to happen. And sometimes, life deals you bad blows. We've lost huge clients for which maybe they took up 80% of our business, which is very dangerous, by the way. Try not to ever let that happen. But right around the corner, we just picked it up and found other clients and or continued. So even if you're in a scary, scary time, just know that around the corner, you can do it, and things will get better.
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. All right, Mary.
Well, I'm a mindset coach, mindful business coach, and everything really starts with mindset. And so take the time to dream and dream big, and then incorporate that into your strategy. I even suggest every day or once a week, fill out like what does that dream look like when you get to where it is you want to go. Write it down, think about it, fill your mind with the positives of your dream and how great it's going to feel when you get there, but then act on it. So you can spend a lot of time strategizing and dreaming. The differentiator is then, okay, what am I going to do? And one of my mantras that I learned from a mentor of mine is to wake up every morning and say to yourself, what am I going to do today to further my business?
Yeah. Because you got to put in the atmosphere, right? It's that mindset.
And put it out
Lindrea.
there.
I love that Mary said my dream big. My thing that kind of ties into that is being faithful and diligent with the small. I think we dream big and we're like, one day I'm going to get this 6 or 7 figure project. And then we may turn down certain projects or not. We're not kind of seeing where it may take us. I literally was working on a proposal last week that was a 6-figure proposal. And I reflected on a project that I did that was very similar. That was a 5-figure, very small, much smaller project. But that project actually helped me prepare for this big pitch because I had that work as an example. And I guarantee you the same energy and passion, it doesn't change from the small to the big. So don't mistreat people or clients. If you take on someone and it's a small client, treat them just as important, just as valuable as the large client. And so treat people well, treat them fairly, and be diligent with the small. There are blessings that come from some of those smaller projects, those relationships that come out of it. And you don't know what other opportunities may come out of that. The big one that I had too was we worked to get to that big project too, a different client. So the first project that we did with them was very small, but we built trust where they were able to trust us with the big. So I would just say that, yeah.
You got to celebrate the small victories, embrace the small. I love that. Have a positive mindset. All right, Patricia, wrap us up. You got that. Well, we're at time, but give us the last 60 seconds.
Yes, I heard many of the women here speak about dreams. I think procrastination is the killer of dreams. So when you put off your dreams, when you're not taking action. And I think the biggest lesson for me is taking care of yourself, eating healthy, staying hydrated, getting up. Like if you have kids, get up before your kids, make time for yourself, because when you don't make time to take care of yourself, time will make, it'll happen, you'll end up in the hospital or something. And the biggest thing is asking for the sale, knowing what your offer is and actually asking the people for the sale, asking for the opportunities, not being afraid to speak up and out about your business and what you have to offer. because at the end of the day, it brings a lot of fulfillment to you, to others, and to your life.
Ask for the business, right? I always tell people, ask for the business, ask for the referral, right? Don't be afraid of it. Be confident in what you guys, with the ability that you do in your service. So thank you, ladies. This has been an amazing discussion. I am truly honored that I was, able to sit here and moderate this. I know we had a lot of golden nuggets that was dropped here. I'm going to turn it back over to BACP to wrap us up.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much. This was awesome. We did have 2 questions come in. If we could just take those real quick, if you don't mind. One is, how do you reinvent your business when your field has become so saturated with people that don't have the passion or real skills, but are just doing it to make some money?
Who wants
Melissa,
to take
you are
that?
shaking your head first. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
I
with
think,
that.
well, I'll just real quick, I think it goes back to the idea that came up earlier in the conversation about realizing your differentiator is really, really critical for that very reason. So, and you absolutely have at least one, if not probably several. So I think realizing those and using that as part of your marketing is really crucial.
Can I add, I'm going to add to what Melissa stated. I totally agree. So I also think that we have to ensure that am I the only one in- That's a little
There's
bit.
some kind of noise, background noise.
I would say if you're not speaking, maybe mute, so we could maybe eliminate the background noise.
And so I would say really quickly, there are different types of establish yourself as a thought leader within your industry. Let people know that you're shaping the industry in a different way. Come out as an authority in what you're doing, and don't be afraid to talk about it. And that is part of your differentiating factor. I also would say that there is a couple of different types of strategies that they say are leadership styles. But talk about how you're adapting as things are moving forward. I also say, just on a practical scale, do a pest analysis and a SWOT analysis on your business. So you can just kind of map out where those opportunities are, where your strengths are. And the beauty about pest analyses is that you're able to kind of see what's happening socially. It stands for politically, and economically, socially, and technology. So kind of do a pest analysis to see what's happening in the world and where you are in all of these different spaces and where you're not. And that's okay, because everything doesn't have to be your thing, but just kind of see what's happening and don't be afraid to talk about it, and focus, have a macro view as well, to show how you're impacting even beyond just your sector, but you're impacting on a global scale or social or economic scale as well. And that's often a differentiating factor too, because it's a bigger mindset than what someone may just kind of be only focusing on their specific product, service, or just their customer. If you're also thinking about long-term vision and just impacting the world in a different way.
Yeah, if I could just build on that a little bit, everything that you said, 100% agree with both Melissa and Lindrea. But I want to add to that, to pause and take a look at your network. Who is in your network? Who is not in your network that should be? And how does that relate to your ideal client? Because once you've understood your differentiator, and you will be different from the other competition in the field in your industry, once you understand that part of it, then the next question is, are you speaking to the people that you want to be speaking to? And seek it out. Take some time, but you can really pivot your network as well to help you grow.
Okay, great. Last question. Can anyone share their favorite leadership or entrepreneur book that helps shape your positively impact your mindset? Anyone that can share any?
I can share really quickly. I want to say this on my desk. I love Clockwork
Mhm.
Clockwork is an incredible book. It literally has been a personal business coach for under $30. So, I love the book Clockwork. I highly recommend it. I can't remember the author's name, but it's called Clockwork. It's like a blue and yellow book, and I can't find it on my list right now. Sure.
There it is.
Oh, she's got it right there.
There you go.
Love that. The one that I'm into right now, it's all about mindset, is called Brave Thinking. And the thing I love about this book is it talks about that intentionality of understanding what it is that you want and visualizing it. But then what it also talks about, there's, worksheets and that kind of thing that you can do to get you there. But it really talks about how notice what you notice as you're trying to build your business and build your dream. What you find is that when you're focused in a certain area, the opportunity then starts to rise up and you notice it. So it's called Brave Thinking.
Great. Thank you. Any other suggestions?
Atomic
I-
Habits.
Oh.
Just wanted to pop in and say Atomic Habits.
Great. Thank you. Everyone's nodding their head. I love it. Cathie, did you have one or just agreeing with everyone's agreeing? Okay, great. Well, I want to thank our panelists. Thank you so much for your great insight, knowledge, and just overall energy. It's been great. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedules and sharing all this with our attendees. I keep on reading, wow, thank you. Oh my goodness, this is great, great, great. So again, thank you so much. Thank you all attendees for logging on. I hope everyone has a happy first day of summer, I think we said. So safe and happy weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.